Say some things that might be usable for the intro. Let's do that.
Say the podcast name, say our names, and then share what we think it is.
I think we got it.
Oh my gosh. Welcome to It's
It's
Happening
happening
for You.
for you.
This is It's Happening for You, the podcast with Robin Meharry and
Stephanie Lentini. We love you.
love you. And then the music begins. It's so funny. I've had this whole thing around abundance in the last probably week. Maybe it's been a full week that it's been really a theme. Oh my gosh. Yes, it is. It's been a week because this is what I wanted to tell you last week that came through the session with Kim that felt like a
Yes.
big unlock, and I didn't even tell you.
Yeah. Yes.
But it goes along with abundance. So it was she okay, let me try to remember what she said. Okay, it's kind of like a duh, now that I think about it, and obvious thing, right?
Okay.
But we're talking about body, and that is probably the biggest thing that I consistently have to show up for and practice having new thoughts and focus and
Mm-hmm.
intentions around it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's really a slippery slope for me to go back into old habits and old ways of being with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we were talking about that, and as I've told you, her sessions just she brings whatever's coming
Their
through, and she
intuitive
said, yeah,
flows and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, it's not like I didn't have a question around this, but she said that what came through in meditation was this merge of my body and soul
Mm.
into one. This
Mm-hmm.
process I've been in, it's it's coming to this kind of full completion of me really
Mm-hmm.
being one with both, because I've always kind of been separate from my body, and kind of had
Mm-hmm.
it over there and something I needed to control, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what she said. And then she was talking about how what came through, and she read me exactly what came through, and I don't have it verbatim, but it was basically the once I release the um the belief of not being able to have enough, in terms of with food, right? It's restrictions
Mm-hmm.
of oh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not allowed to have all that I want in that category. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
allowed to really embrace the abundance that is available to
Mm.
me in this category. Vibrationally, of course, that goes to all categories, and
Mm-hmm.
it's that kind of what the council says is when you resist anything, you resist everything. And
Mm-hmm.
it's the same kind of concept, or at least how it was landing for me. It felt like the same type of concept of if I am restricting myself in this regard and not allowing myself just to experience the endless abundance of food and well-being that is available to me and everybody, then that also of course is flowing into my
Mm-hmm.
financial situation,
Mm-hmm.
abundance in all fields, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I
Mm-hmm.
kind of the moment she said it, it was just this big unlock where I was like,
Mm-hmm.
whoa, I think I have heard that before or thought those thoughts before, but didn't fully get it.
Yeah.
And it was just boom, duh,
Yeah.
of course. And so even since
Yeah.
then, I just been playing with this idea because I didn't realize that I had such a strong belief around that there isn't enough food.
Mm.
That, where then it kind of was causing this pull, push and pull thing with food,
Mhm.
where it was have as much as you can because there's not going to be, you have to finish your plate, those kinds of
Mhm.
things, or I can't just be done when I'm feeling satiated, because
Mhm.
then, I don't know, the food is going to waste or whatever it is. But it
Mm.
actually, the vibration underneath all of that is a belief of lack.
Yeah.
And so I've been just because I am in a place where I have no lack of food. I have no
Yeah.
lack of anything right now. I really don't. Like if there was nothing in the pantry, which there is, but if there was nothing there, I could get food. Like they would buy me
Yeah.
food. I would have food. There's no lack of it. And so I
Yeah.
was like really playing with the abundance of food. Like,
Mhm.
oh, I can have as much or as little as I want because it's
Mhm.
not going anywhere. It will always
Mhm.
be there. If I want more, I can have more. If I don't want more, I don't have to have more.
Mhm.
And it's opened up like, I don't know, it sounds so crazy, but it's unlocked something within me where I've
Mm.
let go.
Mm.
And now I'm really like actually allowing my body to lead the way on really eating whenever I want to eat or not eating when I don't. And it's interesting. I can see how it's just changing because I don't have this restriction going on in my
Mm.
body around it, this story anymore. So it's allowing it just to flow.
Beautiful.
It's so cool. I know like this is massive for me. Like this is
I
a
mean, yeah.
totally different way of being for me. And
Yeah.
then I just feel that like unlocking that there, it just feels like with money too. Like I did that and then Sunday
Yes.
had this opportunity where my
Yes.
friends then paid for my ticket,
Yes. Totally.
you know?
Totally. I have been exploring food this week too in a different and new way, um, with hunger. So
Mm.
interesting. I've been
Mm.
playing with hunger. And something that I've been noticing is that I often do eat before I'm hungry just because it's like this is the time you eat. Shouldn't
Mhm.
you eat now before you get hungry?
Right, right,
And
right.
I've been sort of just allowing myself to feel hungry knowing that there will always be food whenever I need it
That's it.
too,
Mhm.
like whenever I want it. Even today, when we got off the call, I was like, "Oh, you should eat. You're gonna go run errands. Like you've had some fruit and an English muffin. You should have like a substantial brunch or meal or something before you head out." And just was like, "Why? Like I'm not even hungry."
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and it kind of felt like it was just kind of like, fuck, I guess if I have to, like, I don't know who I was talking to, but,
Mhm.
it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Yeah.
I guess if that's what's required of this moment. And I
Yeah.
realized that I was telling myself that, and I was like, no, I feel fine. And if, like, I don't know, I lose my shit along the way, like, I can stop anywhere and
Yes.
get food. Like,
Yes.
I don't even need to
Yes.
take snacks with me. I can, like,
Yes.
literally respond to my desire for food like in the moment and not
Yes.
um set myself up for success. And like, I feel as though that sort of mentality could verge on the side of like don't eat if you're not hungry. And I've also been allowing myself to eat even if I'm not hungry, but I feel like
Mhm.
eating.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Totally. Yes.
That
Yes.
too is okay.
Yes,
Like
it's just listening to your desire, right? Of like what feels good in that moment to do. And that could be
exactly.
urged by actual hunger pains, or it could just be a inner desire that's like, oh, I want to eat this right now. And
Yeah.
it's just like, I don't know. I guess it really felt like this theme that, played in my life for a long time of just like not enoughness.
Yeah,
And that means like even for
for sure.
myself, right? Like not believing that I'm enough.
Yeah.
And then, not like for a long time I had a weird funky thing with clothes. Like
Mhm.
had so many clothes and I would hold on to things cuz I was
Mm.
afraid that like if I gave that away, oh, then I'll want it for like a weird event and then
Oh.
and it's because like I didn't grow up with a lot of financial abundance. I lived in a household where there was a really strong money like story around money
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was based in lack. and not
Yeah. And a
enoughness.
cultural one, I'll say,
Yes.
like, save it for a rainy day, or like,
Yes.
you don't know, like you might need that and you bought it. So like why would, that whole thing, like I've had a tendency to be very minimalistic and just get rid of things. And then sometimes I'm like, "Ah, I don't have it anymore." And then I'm like, well, I could go get another one. And like,
That's it.
if it's something that I want now, I can have it now again.
Yes. Yes. Like it's always available for us.
It reminds me of this visual that one of my clients keeps getting when she gets like tuned up. She
Mm.
starts floating down a river in a
Mm.
tube. And one of the times that she was doing this, she was like, it's crazy because for like when I was first imagining floating down, I had a bunch of tubes behind me with all my stuff. And she was like, but I realized
That's
that
really cute.
I can like be more like unhindered, fettered by
Mhm.
the need to carry everything that I think I might need at some point, because there's all these little islands along the way. She was just like having this weirdness. There's all
Mm.
these little islands that like have everything I need and want at whenever I want it. Like it's not like, oh, stop at that island because there won't be another. It's like
Yes.
it'll show up and you can choose to go there now or later. And like I love that image. I take
Yeah.
it with me a lot of times when it
I love
comes to the
that.
feeling like you need to hold on to something.
Mhm.
If you don't feel the desire to hold it, it feels heavy or something, like allow yourself to release it and know it will be there when you want it or need it again.
Yes. Yeah,
Talk
I
about
love that.
abundance.
I know, and like I could even cry like thinking about that. It does. It brings up this emotion because it's like, whoa, it's so ingrained, I agree, in societies,
Yeah.
consciousness, that this like whole story of lack and not having enough or not being
Yeah.
enough. And it's like, no, everything we need will show up before we even know we need it.
Mhm. Mhm.
That has been the truth for me. Now that I've lived this way, and when I sold all my stuff in San Francisco, that's when I, released a lot of my physical
Mhm.
belongings, and
Yeah.
I don't have many anymore. And I'm like, woo, freedom. And I was
Yes.
even just talking to my friend about that. She was like, wait, what do you have in England? Because I have stuff in storage in England. I'm like, a couple suitcases of clothes. And like, even if they burned tomorrow, I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine. It's like I have some cute stuff there that I like comes into my awareness as I think about it. I'm like, oh, I would love to get that someday. But I'm
Yeah.
like, also, I would be fine without it because I would just go get something else
Oh my
if I
God.
needed it. And yeah, anyway, so it just feels like this like
I just
really yummy place.
I just remembered two things that like specific examples in my life that like this I've oh my God, I was just getting so excited. Oh my God, I'm gonna share 'em.
Ah!
I'm gonna share
Great.
'em. One was the bed. Remember I told you
Yes.
that Thomas was like, Michelle said we can have a bed. And so I was like, oh, we need to secure this bed, like, and I remember asking someone recently, like, can you help me move a bed? And where should we put the bed? And then I was like, dude, okay, we literally thought we need a bed. Someone offered us a bed in that moment. We don't need
Right.
it yet. So, in fact, I don't need a bed
Yes.
until I need a bed, and I'll get a bed when I need the bed. So I'm not
Yes.
going to even do anything about the bed because I don't feel any desire to it, and I don't want to go. It just feels so effortful to try to, I mean, maybe something will happen before I leave where it's just easy. Someone has a truck and it easily moves over to Jean's. But in this moment, it doesn't feel necessary to even consider how to take this
Mm,
bed to Jean's house so that we have a bed in the fall. I'm like, I'll have a bed then.
yeah.
Whatever. I'll have it when I need it. Okay. And
Yes.
then I don't think I told you this yet.
Oh, I'm excited.
I was looking through my clothes because of EDC. I was
Yes.
like, oh my God, I want to wear my lingerie. I'm pretty sure I told you, but
Oh.
maybe I didn't. And I was like, I have like really cute laundry that like I never wear, and it would be perfect for this event because it's not like fully like,
See
whatever,
through
but
or whatever.
it's pretty risque, and like
Yeah.
where you wear that sort of stuff to raves,
Yeah.
or some people do, not everyone does.
Yeah.
And I was
But
like, that
Steph
could be
does.
fun. Yeah. It's funny because I might actually just end up going in like really cozy clothes, but I have gone through the waves of like, I have all these outfits planned. And then, anyway,
Cool. So
this.
fun.
So I was like, I really want this little bralette. And as I was looking for it, I could not find it. I couldn't find it. And I was like, oh my God,
Oh, that's
classic
perfect.
Stephanie, classic Stephanie tossed it. I get rid of things probably faster than I should, right?
Yeah,
Sometimes
yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
like, I don't like that. It's gone. Like,
yeah, yeah.
I think actually there's a part of me in terms of evolution which allows myself to hold on to things. There's something with
Yep.
that for me that I feel
Yes,
like,
I
oh, that's
agree.
fun. Like,
Yes.
actually letting myself have possessions.
Well, that goes back to the whole home, right? Like you're allowing
Totally.
yourself to have homes and like multiple
Multiple
places to.
homes. Yes,
Anyway, so yes, this is totally part of your evolution. I love it.
it is. Okay. And I was like, fuck, okay. I tossed it, such as life, and forgot
Such
about
is
it.
life.
Like, whatever. I mean, I don't even know where it I was like, I'm not going to try to recreate this. Something
Yeah.
else will come into my experience. And so I just forgot about it. And when Thomas was getting ready to leave, we did a huge packing and organization job. We had all this stuff in the garage and had to, shuffle things around. And he was like, held up this bag while he was in the garage, and he's like, "Hey, what's this?" And it's like a little cloth bag filled with a bunch of things of my clothes. And I was like, "Oh my God, that's like a Goodwill giveaway."
Oh, that's
And
funny.
I just put it in the garage of all places, just,
Yeah.
I'll take care of that later. And then I found this in there and this in there, which I also was like so bummed I got rid of because this is like
Oh, that's
the
super cute.
prettiest.
Oh
It's
my
like
gosh, I love
super
that.
like a deep V, and
Yes.
like because I have no boobs, like
That I have no
it's
boobs
just
either. That looks like
it's
my what I'm wearing right now.
it is so hot.
I love
And
it.
I was like, yes, universe. Like I was just so
Wait, that's so good.
tickled by that. Like, it's not gone.
Wait, isn't
And
that even cool that like this show that's so cool. Something that
that,
you literally thought was gone. Like
yeah,
you physically gave away was like, nope, it's in the garage waiting for you right
I
when you need
know.
it.
And
I love
those two items were the thing that actually got me to realize how quickly I get rid of things and how
yeah.
I actually really like them, and I don't have to
Mm,
get rid of them.
yes.
I have a storage unit. Like, I don't even know
Yeah.
why I insist on getting rid of everything because, like, we have a storage unit which has like all of this space in it.
Yeah.
It's like not even full. And
Yeah.
Thomas holds on to some things, and I'm just like, why are you keeping that? It's just sentimental, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could do that too.
Yes.
I don't
Yes.
have to change myself completely
No.
every time something doesn't feel as lit up for me. It might light
Yes.
up later. I don't know. So there's
Yes.
something in that for me too. Anyway.
Yes. The thing I hear right now, I don't know if this resonates with you, but I was just like hearing when you were speaking, like there's something about like taking up space. Like you're allowed to take up space.
Yeah. I mean, I think like there's there may be something underneath the surface about taking up space. I know for sure, like, being loud in public places and things like that isn't very
That's not a
comfortable
problem
for
for you.
me. No, it's not very comfortable
Oh,
for
it's
me.
not.
No.
That's interesting.
But I feel like with the holding on to things, it's more like I used to really think that it was either freedom or security. It was
Mm,
one or the other, definitely not both. And I feel like that is
no.
more of a representation of that sort of vibration of you can't have it all.
Yes, yes, yes.
Literally, you can't
Yeah,
have it all.
yes.
Yeah,
And you can.
of
And
course.
you are.
Yeah. Which leads me to my next point. This book, Spinning Straw into Gold.
Never heard of it.
No, you didn't.
Wait,
You have not.
I'm gonna look it up on my Libby right now. Keep talking.
It's by Frank W. Butterfield, and he's a channel,
Okay.
Paul. Um, and it's like really similar language to Abraham.
Okay.
And mixed in with it is some like Jaina language because the channel says juicy and delicious all
Oh,
the
how
time.
funny.
And I'm like, that's so weird. Of course, Gina was introduced to them first and then started telling like all the people from her community about this book, and she told
Okay.
me as well, and I was just like, okay, whatever. But then she sent me this book, which was a cool thing too, because I bought it yesterday
Hmm.
on Kindle and I went to the mailbox, like, because we got a notification there was a package. And I was like, are you expecting something, Thomas? Or he was like, no, but just go check. And it was this book and I had just bought it.
Oh,
I was
oh,
like,
that's
oh, that's
cool.
so sweet. But this book is about creating money and it's very
Oh,
specific about money. They
oh,
don't say
okay.
abundance, they're talking about money.
Yes.
Money is a part of the manifestation process. It's not, it doesn't always have to be, but in
Mm-hmm.
our modern society it tends to play a role in the
Yes.
manifestation process, but it's not like a lot of times we think we want money, but it's really because we just want to create, we want to have experiences or other things. It's the
Yes,
money that
exactly.
exchanges for that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but dude, I am just blown away by
I'm totally gonna buy this.
each chapter is like a day of a workshop that they're channeling. And so they'll be like,
Mm.
today we want you to consider this as you go throughout your day.
Oh,
Today we want you to
cool.
consider this as you go throughout your day. And one of the things was like, look at how much money is around you, like in everything around you,
Mm-hmm.
like this microphone and this computer and
Yes.
the money that went into the software to create all of the components of the computer, all of
Mm.
the people that were paid, like they don't go into all those details, but they're like, just take a look at like your immediate environment and look at all of the money that's
Yes.
flowing and has flowed through it to create this into your physical reality. And like I was going around yesterday just like, oh my God, like that fence, where did the materials come from? There was
Yeah.
like a whole crew of people and equipment and whatever, and then it was turned into something else and it was passed through hands, like billions of dollars to
Yeah,
create this
yeah.
fence, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
just in the whole lifespan of it,
Yes. Yes.
this car, this house, everything, everything, how much flows
Everything.
around you. And like with that like keen awareness of how much abundance truly is around us, obviously that's like getting you more in the vibration of abundance.
Yes. I'm
Okay, go
smiling
ahead. No,
because
yeah, why are you
literally the
smiling?
council said this today.
Yes, of
They
course.
literally just someone got on and was like, I'm having a actually her name was Robin. It wasn't me. But she was saying, she's like, I've been having really a tough time with money, with abundance. I'm looking at my budget and it's giving me anxiety every day. And so the
Yeah.
council said exactly that practice of
Yes.
looking at every all the abundance around you, and they gave a million different
Yeah.
examples, but exactly what you were saying.
Yes. Yeah.
So cool.
Yes.
I love
Of
it.
course. And amazing. And for whatever reason, like I'm just, I don't know, there's something very practical about how they just like, I guess it's like a daily thing. The chapters are really short and then they're like today we want you to like look at this
I
or
love
ponder
that.
this question, which I just love.
Yeah, me
Another
too.
one was look around and notice when you are pointing out how someone has something that you don't.
Ah.
Dude, and when I went to Target at 8 in the morning yesterday, I was like, it wasn't until I came out and I looked at each woman. We know the target audience for Target, right? Each woman who was going in at 8:30 in the morning.
Yep.
And I was like, she has less money than me. She has more money than me. She has more money than me. Oh, look at her car. She has a nicer car than me. Oh, look at my car. My car cost $4,000. And I was like, oh my God. Like, I was just like, whoa, like I'm always thinking like this.
Yeah, yes. Totally.
It's like, and they say
We all
just
do
no
that.
acknowledge the thoughts and don't make them bad.
Mhm.
They're not wrong. They've served you at a certain time in your life. They were
Yes.
there for a reason, and now
Yes.
acknowledge them and say, okay, thank you for when you were valuable to me, and now I choose to look at this differently.
Yes.
And that one in particular, I was just like, bleh. It was like
Yeah,
your
that's
food
so
thing,
good.
where it's
Yes.
just like, oh my gosh, like I'm just
Yes. Yes. Totally.
measuring who has more or less.
Yes.
But they go on to say, I think in that specific chapter, everything that everyone has, like you created that. You created that.
I know. And it's like
I know.
it's just it's so crazy like when you think about it like that cuz it's like it's all it's it like they were even saying I don't think this is on this call. I think this is a different call, but something about like everyone's kind of been talking a lot about the economy, right? And the economy dipping and we're
Mm,
going into
yeah.
possible recession. There's a lot of like talk about that kind of stuff right now. And it's like they were saying like the money doesn't go anywhere. Like
Yeah.
it's still there, like it's
Yes.
still available to you. You're just putting this belief system around it where then you can't access it. But more so I was thinking like even those, the billionaires that are out
Hmm.
there, right? It's like
Hmm.
that it they're not there's we are one.
They're not separate from
They're
us.
not
It's,
separate. We're not separate from one another.
yeah. Yeah. Yes.
It's like
Yes.
that's available to me as well
Yes.
because we are one. So
Yes.
it's right there. It's right here. It's
Yes.
here. It's not even there. It's here.
Yes. I'm
Anyway,
excited for you to read this book and for
me
us to like
too.
talk
Ooh,
like about it
yes,
again
queen.
because there's
I'm
I've
so
been
excited.
watching Broad City and they say that so much
Oh,
in
I
Broad City.
love Broad City.
Yes,
Yeah.
queen.
Yes,
Oh my
queen.
gosh. But oh, I want to say one more thing about it and then I think I'm just going to let you read it so you are on the we're on the same page anyway, but oh, last night I was reading again and I don't get very far into the book before I feel incredibly tired and or incredibly invigorated, either or. I've only done 2 reading sessions with it. The first time I had to get up, take a shower, go to Target. It was 8 in the morning. It was 7:30 in the
And
morning. I was
buy
like, I have
everything
to
you
go.
saw.
Actually, it's so funny because the 2 things that I bought, I've taken back one and I have the other one ready to be taken back. And I'm like, whatever. I was just having fun, trying
Yeah.
things on, taking them back,
Yep.
like
Yep.
nothing wrong here. But the
Nope.
second time I read like a chapter and a half and I was just like, oh, I need to take a bath. It was the evening and I fell asleep in the bathtub and it was
Oh
like
my god.
7 p.m. Oh,
Oh
7
my
a.m.,
god.
7 p.m. That's funny.
Oh,
Those
that's
are the
funny.
times that I was reading. Um,
That's
but in the
funny.
second session of reading, he was like, everything, your imagination, I think it's chapter 5 or chapter 3. Chapter 3. Your imagination is your most powerful tool. We know this. We know this, right?
Yes, we know this.
But he was like, you know how people say that things are created in your thoughts? Yes, but things are created in your mind's eye. Like if you even just decide you want to walk across the room and sit in
Yep.
a different chair, you imagine it first. And
Yes.
the reason that you're able to do that, all the fabric of reality is being created based on your imagination of the possibility of you switching
Yes.
chairs.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and I know
Yes.
this is
Well,
like,
blow it. I love it. Chills.
but I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. That this is so
And
good.
and he's talking about how like 99.9% of everything that we are creating, we sort of aren't even aware. He calls it creating by default. We're just not aware because we have such a strong desire for it that we just
Yes.
think it and we do it. The desire is so
Yes.
strong and there's no doubt that
Hmm.
it will be created. And then the other stuff is the stuff that, gives us the pleasure and the fun of like, it's not just like an instant creation, but like we're playing with it, we're molding it, we're
Yes. Yes. The journey.
the journey of it. But
Yes.
like, it was like just saying the thing that you want, like if you are just you can just imagine it and just
Yes.
know that that's how it's created. And we know this. We
I
do
love this.
know this in theory
Yes.
and in practice, but
Yes.
I don't know why it's like new. Like I'm just like, whoa, blown away. Go. You go.
Well,
Tap
oh,
in.
it's only because like I think it's just our awareness just there there's so much I want to say. I don't even know where I just like that. But it's like our awareness just keeps this goes back to like there's always more, right? Like we're always expanding, there's always more. So we're like constantly building our awareness like more and more and we're going into higher levels of consciousness,
Yeah.
which then every time we like hit another level of consciousness, we're hearing that same information
It's new
in a
again.
different way and it's like expanding it even more. So it's like, yes, we've gotten it before, but now
Yeah.
we're getting it even like on a whole nother level because we've expanded into a new level. And so it's just like, it's just so perfect. Everything you're bringing through right now is literally because I listened to the council today when I was like doing other stuff for our website and different things.
Yeah.
And like, so I was kind of listening, I wasn't like super focused on it.
So I'm breaking it down
You're
now.
breaking it down. Like you're literally saying all the same things they talked about today because they talked about the dream, like imagining, like our
Mm.
imagination. You could think of it as you're dreaming. This is all just a dream. And you wouldn't
Yes.
ever wake up from like they were talking kind of because somebody was talking a little bit about how they're in the spiritual industry and they feel kind of like guilt around charging money
Mm.
for their
Mm-hmm.
services. That's a very
Mm-hmm.
common thing. And they were saying, well, this is to piggyback on like another question that was talking about how this is all a dream, that it's all in our imagination, and that anything that we imagine can be our reality.
Mm-hmm.
They were saying, like, if you were, in our human selves understands dreaming, as like you fall asleep and you have these like
Mm-hmm.
dreams and you wake up and whatever, right? So in that dream state, if you had a dream that was like you were so fucking rich and you were so abundant, you wouldn't wake up and be like, oh, that dream was wrong. I feel really guilty about having that dream.
Terrible dream. Yes.
You would be like, that was an amazing dream.
Yes.
That felt so good. And so it's just
Yes.
like, again, the beliefs that we put around it that then
Yes.
limit it.
Yes. And yeah, we can believe anything, and it's sort of like finding our way to the most expansive like possibilities, Like we all I almost said like we all have a starting place, but we all have a place where we're currently sort of at on different topics, what we're
Yeah.
thinking, what we're believing on a particular topic, and you can call that where we're starting in this moment. But like,
Mhm.
oh, I just love being exposed to like expansiveness when I'm receptive to it, new
Yes.
ideas that I can feel. And like, I'm just like, oh, I feel that. I'm excited to
Yep.
apply that. I'm excited to connect the dots with that sort of thought.
Well, and I think that just goes along with like that's the epitome of allowing.
Yeah.
Like you're not sitting there going, hearing this information, reading it, whatever, and then limiting it. You're like allowing that to fully come in, to fully
Yeah.
embody it.
Not at first. Like I said, when Gina was first telling me about it, I was like, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
and then someone else was like, great book. And I was like, I'm reading the intro, and it really just did resonate with me, I guess.
yeah.
I've just, you know this about me, I think, that I've been not listening to guided or channeled material or teachers for like months now.
Yeah, I do know
Months.
that. Yeah.
And so when I do listen now, I hear something new, I think, and that's what's blowing me away. And it feels so lovely to be like, oh, like this is like this, there's, I guess what I'm saying is there's more for me too.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love
But like
that.
not just in
I
terms
could
of
cry.
like experiences or physical manifestations or whatever, but like in terms of clarity, like clarity and awareness. Like there's
Yeah.
more possible there too. I almost felt like I'd come to the end of the road with it in some way. Like, oh, like think these teachers aren't really like, it's not blowing me away anymore. And I was kind of like, I
Mm,
guess like I'm done. I don't know, have I graduated, like
yeah.
it's sort of
Yeah.
like almost taking a perspective of some sort of superiority, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But it's so good to like just have allowed myself to take that time, to allow myself to be in that space, and then like be dipping my toes back in and being blown away,
Yeah.
and really just like I was so bored yesterday morning. I was like, and I let myself just like be bored and just get over it. It's sort of like just let yourself be hungry for a
Yeah.
minute, just like more desires are being born out of this moment where you have everything you want. So I feel like I
Mm,
translated boredom
yeah.
to like, oh, I've got it all. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
what's next? Like, I'm
Yeah.
safe, I'm secure, I've got it
Mhm.
all. And then I let myself just be there, and I found a few thoughts that felt a little bit better. And then I read this book, and I
Mm.
was really thinking that the solution to my boredom was going to be activity.
Yep, of course.
I thought it was like a camping trip or something that made me feel alive again
Mm.
physically. And I
Yes.
read this book, only a few pages, and I have been buzzing since then.
I
Buzzing, like,
love it.
oh my gosh. And I'm surprised, I was surprised that it could come in the form of just clarity and like metaphysical
Mm.
eagerness. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like,
totally. Totally. Which is so cool.
oh,
Like, it's so cool. There are I think this like goes back to like why I want to release this like podcast sooner than later. There is so much energy
yeah,
and shit moving right
yeah.
now. Like, listen to like how much we have to share and discuss in only a
I
week.
know. I was like, this is going to be a short call. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, what was I thinking? I don't know what I'm talking about.
And it's like if this like we know if this is happening for us, it's happening for everybody else as well, right? Like
Yes.
on some level. So it's like there's so much energy and there's so much movement right now. This is the time where I want to get this out there to share because people are
Yeah.
going to resonate with it because they are going through it in their own ways, right?
Yeah.
And there was this other thing I wanted to share that has been kind of like maybe this was even just last night. I always am like getting stuff on Libby, that then do you know what Libby is?
No. I'm guessing
Oh
it's a
my
book app
gosh.
or something.
Yes, but it's a library. Like you sign up for
Okay.
your local library or whatever, and then you
Oh,
get a virtual library card where then the app is called Libby and you can search titles and then borrow it. That then goes right onto your Kindle.
Oh, cool.
Yes. And so then you know, if it's a popular book, you might be waiting for weeks and then you'll get a notification the book is ready and then you have 3 weeks to read it. But it's awesome. So like, and whenever I'm hearing, you know, like you just did, shared a book, I'll look it up on Libby and then I'll like borrow it. And so I just have books that will either show up and whatever. So I'm always just like, oh, this book is
Yes.
ready. Okay, I'm going to read it. So one of them was this book called Signs, and it was made or written by a psychic medium that
Hmm.
is in Long Island. I have no idea how this book, like, literally, legitimately have no idea who suggested this book to me or
Yeah.
anything, right? But anyways, I'm reading it and it's cool to listen to all these, like a lot of the beginning of the book is all about you know, like her stories with clients that have been able to connect with the other side, their loved
Hmm.
ones that have passed and then receive signs from them and to connect with your, you know, what she calls her team of light, you know, your you
Hmm.
know, guides. Um, and so it's just been fun to like be in the energy of that and just reading it and reading these accounts that I believe in all this, right? So I'm like, oh, of
Hmm.
course, of course, of course. And then last week I was like, oh, this is fun. I'll just ask for like a sign today. And so I was like, okay, I want to see a hummingbird and I want to see a license plate with 888 on it.
Mm.
And I saw both
You
throughout the day.
received both.
I received
Yes.
both. And I was like, oh, this is just so fun, you know? And then
Yes.
last night there was a story about this woman who her husband passed and then he came through and said, you know, there you're not meant to live the rest of this life alone. I'm going to
Mm.
orchestrate this person to come into your life for you to be
Mm.
with. And it will take 4.5 years from my passing for this
Oh,
person to
wow.
come into your awareness. And anyways, it all
Very
happened, right?
specific. Yeah.
Very specific. And it all happened. And there was this other person that had also passed that was helping orchestrate this and all this stuff. And so that was the story I read before going to sleep. And I was laying in my bed and I was like, wait, this is so fucking cool. Like, we don't even, there's teams of people on the other side that are just weaving things that align to our desire that we can't see, we don't know, but it's all happening. And we just like all we have to do is be open to receive and like follow the signs. Like, right? If there's an urge or if there's a sign that is like, you know, do this, you know, instead of that, that feels better. Do it. And it leads you to that desire. And I was like, wait, this is so fucking cool.
This might be our most magical conversation yet of the weaving of like how I wanted to say something before you started this, and you talking about that and coming to the conclusion you just came to set me up for two things that I wanted to say that did not seem related, and now they do.
We're never, we're so funny.
We're never gonna get such an episode under 30
Yeah,
minutes.
never.
Well, let's just let go of that and like just
Never.
be present to what is.
It literally blows my mind how much we have to say that we have to share with one another. It's so funny.
This is what I wanted to
Oh my
say.
gosh. Okay, I love this.
Chapter 4 is called Everyone Everywhere Wants to Help You.
Oh my god.
And like in the chapter, he's talking about physical beings, but
Yes.
obviously there's infused in this whole thing, but in my awareness that there's this whole orchestration going on behind the scenes.
Yes.
But like in that chapter, he's talking about how even all the humans, everyone,
Yes.
everywhere, they want you to succeed. They want you to have what you want. Like, and I've been
Yes.
thinking
Mm.
about that, like, and feeling the truth of that so strongly, how like we really do
Yes.
all just want, like, yesterday I asked someone for help at the gym, and before I asked for help, I was aware I could literally ask anyone. I was like, anyone would be willing to help me right
Mm.
now. And it was
Wow.
before I read that chapter. I read that
Mm.
chapter after that.
Oh, that's
And I
so
was
funny.
like, and then I just chose of all of the options I had, which one felt best or easiest to me. And even still, when I was asking this girl for help, I felt bad. And so I read this chapter and I was like, everyone everywhere wants to help you.
Yeah. Mm.
So, like, just let yourself believe that, feel
Yes.
that,
Yes.
know that,
Yeah. Yeah.
allow that.
Mm. Mm.
Even your husband who died
Yes. Yes.
wants to help you, wants you to feel good.
And there's then, like, even with that, that feels still like back to the oneness, right? Because we're all
Yes.
one, and the truth
Oh,
of all
yeah.
of us is
The
love.
benevolence,
Yeah.
yeah, the benevolence, the love, the
Yeah.
inherent
Yeah.
just love, just wanting to be expressed. We are
Yes.
love that's wanting expression.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and then the fact that the book's called Signs and you're talking about getting signs. This was another thing I wanted to tell you. When I read the book, I don't typically look for signs outside of myself because I feel really connected to my inner guidance now.
Mhm.
So
Same. Yeah.
I used to look for synchronicities and signs as an indicator that I was doing well,
On the right path or whatever.
on
Yes.
the right path. But there was still this tremendous externalizing and looking for like what's right. The feeling like I'm not the one sort of deciding what's going on and that something else is like, yes, something else is orchestrating, but felt very much like I
Separate from
was at
that.
the whim, yes, separate
Yes.
from. I was at the whim of the gods sort of thing. And so
Yes.
it's like, please tell me I'm on your right path that you've chosen for me,
Yeah.
and so the numbers and the clock and the things, those would be indicators to me that I'm on the right path. But I don't regard life that way anymore. But still they're fun.
Yeah.
Signs are fun.
Yes. They're
And
fun.
these are the two signs I got yesterday. First session reading 7:30 in the morning. I opened the book. I'm like 2 pages in. It was on my phone because I didn't have the book yet. I didn't have the physical copy. I just purchased the Kindle version. And I like was 2 pages into chapter one, and a message comes through on my phone. I'm reading on it. It says, Charlie just got $150,000 inheritance from Thomas. And Charlie's a friend who's had his own struggles, etc. And like this message came in like right when I started reading this book about money and wealth and spinning straw into gold.
Whoa.
And I was like, that was like a nod from the universe, like, because the chapter one is called Creating Money, Not Making Money. The difference between creating money instead of always being in this perspective of I'm making money, and making money is like tied to a person, a
Yes.
circumstance, a situation. And so
Yes.
that's where the whole idea of like looking around and seeing how much money is created already around you kind of was born out of, is like you're creating instead of always being in this position of like thinking how to make money,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And then that message came through and I was like, no. And I texted Gina and I was like, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I come home, I do my day. I'm sitting in the same spot on the couch in the backyard reading session number 2. And I go upstairs because I told you I got sleepy. And I was like, I'm taking a bath. I'm taking a bath. That sounds
Yeah.
like the most amazing thing right now. And so I ran a bath and it was so relaxing that I just like dozed, like the best kind
Mm.
of like nappy dozy, like,
Mm.
I just like
Yeah.
curled up into the corner and just
That's
like
awesome.
so good, like a little
Oh,
cat on a window.
oh,
And I was
great.
like, don't know how long I was there. It's probably only 5 minutes. But just a little bit into my little dozing, I hear a song come on right outside the bathroom window. Tupac. All eyes on me. All eyes on me. And the chorus just repeats it. Because
Yeah.
the only words I could distinguish in my little sleepy nap was
Oh my God.
all eyes on me. And there was not a song before this, and there was not a song after. There was one song played. I don't know if it came from my neighbor or if it came from the fucking heavens, but I felt like the message was so specific.
Wow. Wow.
All eyes are on me.
Wow.
And in you too.
Yes.
I'm not saying like I'm the
No,
center of the universe. I'm the center
I
of
get
my
it. Yes,
universe.
yes, yes. I get it. Exactly
Everyone
what we were
wants to
talking
help
about.
me.
Yes.
I
Yes.
was just like, I'm gonna keep doing that. Bong.
Yeah.
Like this like,
Yeah.
gong had been hit.
Yes.
Cause I came out of it and like the song stopped and I was just like, what is that?
What
God,
is
is that you?
Yeah. I love that he comes through as Tupac. Yeah, maybe it was just Tupac.
It was Tupac.
I love
It wasn't God, it was Tupac.
I love that. Oh my
Talk
gosh,
about
that's so
signs,
good.
right?
Right?
And your
Oh my God.
hummingbird and the 888. And I've been playing with like numbers on plates too. And I'm like, I saw like a 222 and then I saw a 444 and I was like, ooh, I'd love to see a 333 next. There it is.
Yes. Yeah,
Like,
it's
oh, let's
just
fill in all the numbers.
yeah. It's just fun. It's not even like, oh, give me a sign that then tells me, I'm on the right. It was just like, oh, I want to see these signs today. That
Yes.
just indicates that, I'm in communication with the
Yeah.
universe. That was like
Yes.
kind of the intention around it.
Yes.
And it delivered. Like those aren't
Absolutely.
normal occurrences for me. I don't see a hummingbird every day. I'm
Yes.
not always out in the world where I see license plates even. So it's like
Totally.
that was so cool. And that same thing happened another way. And I don't know. There was something else I was just gonna say with oh, it's gone.
There was something I was just gonna say too, which I think is also gone. So
No.
I have a moment of silence for Tupac.
Yeah, the moment of silence for Tupac.
That's
Oh my
so
God,
cool.
that's so good.
Oh,
I love it.
hmm.
It's just fun. Oh, I
Yeah.
know. I was going to share a story too that, this whole book is all about, she's a medium, so loved ones crossing and
Hmm.
people wanting to connect with their loved ones that have crossed. And so anyways, I was on Sunday, the cleaners come and we've
Hmm.
have the same cleaners now every week and we've gotten to know them and they're so sweet. We love them. And I was talking to the woman and we were just, I don't know. I forget exactly how it came up. I think it was because I was watching Tiger Lily and she was saying that there's a gesture that she makes because Tiger Lily will put her hand on your face and like look at you with like
Mm,
all of the love in the world and it's just the best. And she
yeah.
did that to Marina who was holding her one day and she was
Mm,
like, "Oh, that was just like my first daughter who
mm,
has passed."
mm,
And she started sharing and crying and I was crying and she was sharing all this and I said, she's still with you. I just
mhm.
felt like inclined to like say that and like share
Yeah.
that. And she was like, "I do know that." And I was like, "And you
Oh,
could always get signs from her if you want." She goes, "I do get signs from her. She
yeah.
loved ladybugs." And so whenever I think about her, she was like, one day I was driving in the car and I got kind of sad thinking about her. And, she was driving with her husband and he was like, "Oh, what's going on?" And she's like, "I was just thinking about my daughter." And he goes, "Well, don't try not to do that. There's no point of getting sad about it." And then she felt something in her hair and she was like, and it fell out on her and it was a ladybug.
Of course.
Of course, I was like, well, that was her, like that was her saying like, there's nothing to be worried about. I'm
I'm
happy.
always here.
Always here with you. I love you. I'm doing great. I'm doing better than fine. I'm great.
Yes.
And so we just had this amazing moment that
I'm bringing
maybe,
you your next husband.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And like, it was just cool because it's like, I don't know. Of course, I was just reading this book, and then of course, this
Yes.
conversation just was able to happen. Where then I was just already in that vibration to bring that, like maybe I
Yes.
would have anyways, but you know what I mean. It was very present for
Yeah,
me
yeah, present. Yes,
that then I could
exactly.
just like be like, well, I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
I'm
like what how's the council is channeling what I've been reading in this book, and you're like, "Oh
yes.
my gosh." Like, yes. And I like half listened, so now I'm getting to like re-listen in this way.
Exactly. And just like when you were talking earlier, that was the other thing that they also were talking about the different, they didn't use that exact terminology, I don't think, but like the difference between creating money and making money and the
Yeah.
old belief system that, we have to work really hard and effort to make
Yeah.
a certain amount of money. And instead of like money is energy.
Yeah.
And through
Yeah.
creation, energy is present and
Yeah.
you can draw that energy to you at any time. Um,
It's just if I mean like it's something that I've been thinking about with money is like it's sort of like a tool, and it's like, you know, so in some regards, I'm like, well, it's there when I need it. But then also I have just like a general desire and awareness of the desire to have more than I'm aware I need at the moment.
yes.
And then I was thinking, well, like that relates to my desire to make larger purchases too, like so it will feel easier to purchase things that are $10,000 or $20,000 or $30,000 or even $2,000
Hmm.
um when there's actually that amount of money,
Yeah.
available in my bank account, then this whole like spend it on credit and then the money comes in, so um I'm aware that like I have all I need right now and a ton more, but I'm also like eager and excited to play with the idea of like creating beyond way beyond that and creating new experiences for myself in terms of exchanging
Yeah.
dollars or digital numbers for other things that I might have that might tickle my fancy. Right
Yes.
now I can go to Trader Joe's and Target and Smith's and get gas as much as I want. Like, and
Hmm.
I'm not saying I do it more than I want. I just
Hmm.
as much whenever I want. I know I can do that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I'm
Yes.
eager to include more experiences of that in like just larger numbers too,
Yeah.
just as much as I want of this and as much as I want of that. And again, it doesn't have to be more than I want. I don't have to like hoard or just get or to
Right.
prove or anything like that. It's more so
Right.
just like a desire. So I'm excited to play more in this and create more experiences and new experiences for myself. And I just have to say like one thing I really like about this book is they're talking about money. And I just love like I know there's a distinction between money and money doesn't equal abundance. I know that, but I
Hmm.
like that. I like for them to be just so direct and talk and call, in this case, they're talking about money. They're not just talking about the vibration of abundance, but
Yes.
money specifically.
Yep.
Um, because I just appreciate the practicality of that,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and
the
it's
directness of it.
and it is, it's like we dance around, saying that we want to be rich and we want to
Yeah.
be prosperous and we want
Yeah.
money. we
Yeah.
dance around that because there's been some fucking weird belief system that's been ingrained in all of us that if you want a lot of money, it's greedy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's a greedy thing, you know?
Yeah, not just in the spiritual community. I mean, it extends to like
No.
the
Yeah.
broader culture of like, an acknowledgement they have more than me. That sort of thing that I was talking about with like
Yes.
always sort of taking stock of
Compare.
who has more and who has less,
Yeah.
and thinking that if someone has more, they're taking from you, that there's a finite
Yes.
amount. And that goes back to our conversation from last time too, where it was like, or
Mhm.
maybe a few times ago, we were talking about like our friends giving to us
Yes.
in various ways, and sort of feeling like, oh, am I taking from them for them to give to me? Is
Yeah.
it depleting their, storehouse of nuts for the winter?
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yes.
that's not how it works. It
No.
comes from all sorts of sources, but it's an infinite flow of energy and availability.
Yes.
Um,
It's infinite.
like it's infinite. It's infinite. It's like this book compares it to like if you imagine like your tap was your water tap in your house was tapped into like the ocean, and whatever,
Mhm.
and you could run the tap the entire time, and whatever you didn't use just went back into the ocean, so it's just sort of
Yes.
recirculating. And like
Yes.
there's no like waste, or
Yep.
like you can just always have it open, fully open, and it just keeps flowing through, and there's not like a I've used it, it's gone. It's like what
Yes.
you were saying with what the council was saying about like a
Yes.
recession, like the money
Yes.
isn't gone.
It doesn't
It's just
go
you're not
anywhere.
using it. You've just turned off the tap. You've said,
Yes.
I'm going to hold this now, or whatever. And not everyone does that. I mean, I
Yeah.
think that's just a general um actually, I don't need to get into that, because I think I'm probably have some beliefs about who creates propaganda, and I don't tend to even like really care. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
not
yeah.
something that I'm super tapped into, but
Yeah.
it's just a story that's told,
Yeah.
and it's not one that like I feel like I'm affected by
No,
whatsoever.
not at all. Not at all. And like something that came through when you were talking, how like eights typically, if you see, eights in general signify abundance.
Yeah,
That's
because of
like,
the infinite loop of it.
yes, exactly. I was just thinking, I'm like, oh, that's so funny that I asked, I didn't even
That you
really
wanted
think
to
of,
see eights.
yes, I went and I
Yeah, you weren't
wasn't
like
thinking about it like
threes.
that. No, I was like, I want eights. I want money, bitch.
I love that too, because I was thinking like eights aren't even something you can see on a clock. You
Yeah.
can't
Oh,
see 888
true.
on a clock. So you would have to see it in some other form than like your phone, or
Oh,
a
how
clock in the
funny.
house, or the oven.
Yes, so true. I
Yeah.
didn't even think about that. That's so
Yeah.
funny. Anyways, and then yeah, the infinity of money. It's not, it's just infinite. It's infinite,
Yeah.
you
And
know?
I guess that's the nature of abundance, is like everything is. It's not just
Yes.
money that is. Like
Yes.
we're constantly creating, and we're not there's not going to be a time in which we run out.
No. Mm-mm. Not
No.
never. Thanks for listening. You can visit us at www.itshappeningforyou.com for more information about upcoming episodes and previous episodes, and just learn more about us. Here we go.
And a 3, and a 2, and a 1, and a welcome
Welcome
to,
to
right?
It's
But let's
Oh, I thought
start from the beginning.
It's Happening For You podcast with Robin Meharry.
And Stephanie Lentini, the podcast about mastering the creation process and living a life of extraordinary possibilities.
Join us as we just talk every week and chat and share.
Have way too much fun. We
Way too
love
much
you.
fun. We love you.
Thank you for being here with us.
And the beat drops.
And the beat drops.